Alright guys, welcome back to the studio. We are at round 2 at the Comanche Trail South at the Cabal Presents the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in Odessa, Texas. We got Noah, aka the Duke, in studio with us. And we got Elijah in studio with us.
Hey everybody.
We are going to make the trek south of the interstate, walk across McKinney Park to Comanche Trail South and start on hole 8, where we have our third card consisting of Joel, my brother, y'all's uncle, and Timothy Pendergrass, along with Noah and special guest, Joa. They paired the FPO, since she was the only one that signed up at this tournament, with the MPO card. So here we go, hole 8, straight shot. You've got OB to the right of the path and beyond. You've got Timothy leading us off, sending something stable, hits a tree, goes straight down. It's going to leave him an approach shot there. You got wide open to the left, but these trees are just annoyingly in your way. It's not too difficult of a shot. You've got the big hyzer, but we've got a headwind. And so, Noah, what are you going with here?
Yeah, I tried this. I tried the harp here. I tried to at least stay in bounds because I think honestly one of the worst things you could do on this hole is go OB to the right. So
you're throwing something a little stable, harp on hyzer. Start to drift a little bit, and just not enough height. A little bit more height, I think, she gets you inside the circle.
I'm gonna have William here. I imagine same shot.
Yeah, he was gonna throw, I think, an origin or something, but when he felt that headwind, he stepped it up to a truth, and he's got this copper EMAC truth. It's pretty stable, pretty nice disc, and lets her rip. A little low, but
It's the putt.
it's in the circle. And here we go, Joa, my niece, your cousin, Joey Zarate. And that was a really good shot. Just caught some cabbage and brings her down in the middle of the fairway. But you know what? You just says it's a fairway hit, and that's good for me.
We have Timothy here, just trying to get up there for his approach. It shouldn't be too hard, but there are some trees down this fairway you just don't want to accidentally hit.
I will tell you this: if it's within 150 feet and Timothy's throwing, the basket's in trouble. He'll get it there every time. If he's got a look forehand to get up and down, just count it. He's up and down. He'll get it on the basket. If he wants to give it a run, you can give it a run.
We have Noah stepping up here, and it looks like he's gonna try to give it a good bid.
Yeah, it looks like, what, 50 feet?
yeah, about somewhere there.
Looks like the headwind didn't help you out there at all. Thought that would lift a little bit.
So here's Joel putting for birdie, and that's a good way to start the second round on the first hole.
Yeah, he gives you about a 30-footer, drains it. It's going to give him some confidence going into the second round. We're putting, again, on end of a disc catcher, so if you put it near it, it's going to catch it.
Oh, and a band hit from Joey.
Yeah, you think that she had almost a tailwind, but I think it was a tailwind left to right, and instead of dropping it, it kind of lifts it up just at the last second. Hits band, but we got some cleanup here. And Joa is the fastest disc golfer in all of disc golf. You're going to see I'm going to miss some of her up shots. She doesn't take too much time when it comes to putting. I got to hustle and get in position, so we might miss some of her shots, but that's why. Timothy lays it in, and we are at hole 9.
Okay, hole 9, 297 feet. There is a ditch, a little ravine that runs right in front of the basket. I do know that today there was water in there, so if it gets dumped, that's OB. There was a call on my card where, and unfortunately, what hits that OB. But there was a call on my card where one of the people had their disc barely popping out of the water, but we got right underneath it and we could see there was a gap, so it wasn't touching inbounds. Ended up being OB.
Yeah, if Timothy does the same thing, they hit the bank. The water is actually quite a bit below the bank, but they hit the bank, and so they're going to be able to take their disc on the other side and putt for par within 10 feet. Noah, however, throwing a hex straight at it, and that's good flight.
So in my head, since they both went OB, I thought, okay, now just throw it, because they were going a little bit short. So I was thinking it might even be farther than it looks. So I thought, okay, just throw it basically as hard as you can and just get over the water.
Yeah, with that headwind, it was just keeping their discs from crossing that little ravine. Joey lays it up halfway, doesn't want to risk going OB. And there she goes, quickest player in all of disc golf. Quick up shot right there next to the basket. And we have Noah for birdie. You got that tailwind.
So in my head, I thought, my gut was saying lay it up, but I was really close. So I thought, okay, just run it. And unfortunately, this goes in the water.
And splashes. Now, I think if that was your spin putt, that would have been dead center. It would have been cash money. Joey hits the outside chains, and she is in the water.
At least with that OB, like you were saying, it's about 10 feet away. Nobody will have to really suffer too much after.
Yeah. And the part of it, I missed Joey's putt. She put it in, but fun part of disc golf you don't get to always see. There's like me, the camera guy, with my knee brace and a big old tree branch. For some reason, nobody on the car had a stick. We're pulling discs out of the water. You see Timothy laying down while I'm bringing the disc closer to him. He's dipping his hand into that nasty water and bringing up the discs, and we got everything but Noah's putter. Couldn't find it.
All right, so hole 10 is about 395 feet, and this is probably playing one of the tougher holes, especially when it's one of the farthest shots, especially when it's the wind started picking up and it was a left to right headwind. So I mean, I think it was almost a bonus birdie for sure.
Yeah, hole 10. Let's see here. NPO round 2. It played at. This is not right. There's no way. It played at minus 0.18 under par. Wow. There were some people birdieing this hole. Looks like Kai birdied it and Marabi Ramirez birdied this hole. I don't know how they did that at 400 feet. Well, I mean, I don't really think it plays that well to the forehand.
Well, I wonder what Kai did if he went on the left side forehand and could have skip or maybe any forehand. But I mean, that's definitely a great.
That's a great birdie to get. There was 2 birdies on the day. There I go spoiling holes again. Maybe I should wait until I start saying stuff like this. But you guys playing a pretty decent play. Was that at D3 again?
Yeah, so I try to get as much skip as I could, just because I knew I wasn't gonna get there if I threw it all there.
Yeah, and you were playing into a headwind, and so to get that far left into the headwind, you're gonna have to have a lot of power with something pretty stable. Joey with a pretty good shot there gets beyond the big tree, which is really your only obstacle. It just makes you go really wide, either left or right. And so it really makes the whole play even farther than the 395.
Yeah, for me, this is not a birdie hole. It's just kind of a chip, hopefully just an easy tap in.
And Joey, she goes almost right at it and just hits a branch and kicks left. It's going to leave her a pretty long look.
So here's a way about probably circle 2 edge, maybe circle 3, and hits the branches and it's going to be pretty close for a par.
And just like y'all were saying earlier, Timothy, forehand upshot, based.
This is a real look for bird here. It's very low ceiling, so you got to go to that spin putt. And that spin putt is dead center, just a little low. You got a low ceiling. I think that spin putt really is your bread and butter.
Oh, and a good bid from Joey. Just high.
Just how I gave it a chance. Didn't go in, but that was a great putt. That was a good run. Oed cleans up his par.
Same with Noah.
And no, I didn't speed that up. That's Joey's full routine on every putt. She puts that in for the bogey. Still pretty good for the FPL field to get a bogey there.
All right, hole 11, 399 feet. We have Joel throwing a backhand flex shot. Here it's a downhill hole. Basket's inside the tree. As long as you can just get over that hill, preferably on the lower side, it's a little easier. You can get a putt.
This one also playing right in the middle at about the 7th hardest hole. 385 foot is what the PDGA had to mark out. It's really closer to 400 feet downhill. Well, it's actually flat for a lot of ways, and then it crests a hill and it slightly grades downhill. Timothy hanging over to the right. This one was a little bit hard for me to edit because it was hard for me to see the discs in the sun. But he's off to the right. Going to be an easy up and down from there.
Yeah, honestly, this was like very tough because I honestly was thinking, should I throw a Thunderbird or a Hex, right? But I said, just throw a Hex just to at least land straight and not too far right or too far left. Because if I land straight, at least I can look at the basket.
Yeah, if you do go too far left, that ravine, that little ditch from hole 9 actually runs pretty close to the basket on this hole, close to the circle. So if you hit circle's edge and you skip left, you can skip into the water and get an OB stroke. So it is pretty smart to play that pretty straight. There's Duke.
That was a good run. I was expecting a layup.
That one's pretty decent to run because you've got all those trees there. If you miss, you're probably going to hit and stick pretty close. Timothy, I mean, just putting it right under the bucket again. And the bullseye for an easy par. And Joa, that tree right in front of her, that big branch is right in front of her. She has to go anti-putt.
Buckets.
Drops it in. The Addy, no chains, puts it in the bucket. I don't know, did that ricochet off that tree branch?
It did, yeah.
Man, that was a great putt. That was really obstructing. I don't even think she could see the basket. That's how wide that branch is.
I'm gonna take it.
And it's an easy par for
I'm gonna
me.
take it.
That's a little bit of cleanup here.
Yeah, I love it.
Bars all around.
Bars all around, and now we're into Birdie Alley.
Okay, so hole 12, 247 feet. There's like a flex shot through the gap. You want to go like a flex shot with an overstable disc. I think if you have it, then I would say it's a thumber hole because you definitely want to go like almost a little bit of churn out of it and then fade to the right. So I think honestly, if you do have it, it's definitely a thumber hole.
Yeah, Joel, a little bit short. Catches that Mesquite. He's down, and with the clouds, it was a little bit difficult to catch the discs in the air. But I agree. Birdie Alley holes 12, 13, 14, even 15 are all thumber shots. You have tall mesquites in the front and all throughout. The easiest shot really is just to go over everything. Now, Timothy disagrees, and I kind of agree with him.
Wow.
Oh my gosh!
Getting close. He was trying to get an ace on camera. He saw the camera, and he's like, I'm going to get an ace for you guys on camera. And he was just putting him near the bucket.
It depends on if it got over the bush or not.
He doesn't know how close it was. He says, I think I got over the bush. I should be parked. If he got over the bush, which he did. Now it goes forehand. I can imagine that's your play too, Elijah.
Yes. Now this last time I accidentally clipped one of the mesquites and I was just barely on the edge, so I wasn't able to get the birdie.
Yeah, I don't like that forehand just because if you get a headwind or if you accidentally turn it over. Luckily, you guys got a tailwind here. But if there's a headwind, I don't like the forehand because if you turn over, you can land in jail, brother. And that's a good shot by Joa. That's inside the circle, probably 27, 28 feet. But that's going to be a good look for birdie for her. And we just got Joel pitching out from the junk. Nothing you can do there.
Next we have Noah lining up a putt to see if he can capitalize on that shot.
That looked wide.
Yeah, it was pretty wide. There was mesquites all over the place, and also it was a right to left, so I decided just to go a little bit wider.
Just left. Looked like that stuck to her hand a little bit. Came out a little bit wobbly. She has a clean release. I think that's dead center. But it happens sometimes.
Sun just came up.
Especially that grass was real wet that day.
But no real damage done.
Easy
Pars all
pars.
around, and
Tim with
except for Timothy with the birdie.
the drop in birdie. Now we got Timothy taking the box hole 13. Par 3, 266 feet. Those mesquites are very close. They come up on you quick. And you can't really just throw a hyzer like this because it ends up going too straight. And you got to get some flip up and turn out of it. But with the way the wind blows out here in West Texas, that's not always easy.
I'm going.
I throw thumber on this hole. I hate it, but it gets me a look every time. Well, with the forehand. Same thing. You got to get flip up out of it. And you just don't want to do that because if it flips up and rides... And luckily they got a tailwind, but it can ride that wind down into that. It grades a little bit and goes downhill just after the basket, and you don't want that because then you're very far away.
So what are you throwing here, Noah?
So I thought this D1. I was kind of surprised it actually set up straighter, but yeah, unfortunately I hit the mesquite, but it got a little bit of a roll, so it's a little more open, which was a little fortunate.
Yeah, you're putting. But see, this is Joey's gonna have to go Anheuser over here, and it's kind of what I'm talking about. It just catches that wind and it just rides it and it just turns over and it just doesn't want to come back, and it brings her over into the junk. And that junk is tall, it's thorny, it's pokey, and it's very uncomfortable to stick your feet and your legs and your hands and arms in there. It's not where you want to be. You're not going to be able to get a good, comfortable look, and so you're just going to want to pitch out without cutting yourself open.
And she does hit in the bullseye. Good upshot from Joey.
Pretty good run. And that tailwind doesn't do him any favors. Doesn't drop it. The wind doesn't really do a lot what you think it's supposed to do out here. It swirls quite a bit, and you can't really depend on the drop and the lift. No, you got to look here, straddle out.
Yeah, and I kind of get this one to the right, and yeah, I was really on the line to win too. Like on some, I figured it might push down in a headwind for some reason. So I was like, I just try to aim for the pole in the middle and just see what happens.
Yeah, Timothy doesn't get the drop either with that tailwind. It just wasn't doing what you think it would do. Now it's putting back into the headwind on an elevated basket, something you never want to do, but he jams it. The only thing you can do, just throw it hard. Don't let the wind give the wind a chance to do anything, but let that disc go straight. You know what? You're also putting back in the headwind, but not that big a deal, not too far. I hate putting into the headwind on an elevated basket, and that seems what all of y'all left yourself on these cleanups.
Nice cleanup. Ugh. I hate not getting that hole after I
Alright, hole 14, 296 feet. This hole, nothing too special. It's just it's a downhill shot. Mesquite, there's a small pathway that you can try to go down. Nobody's going to. They're all going to try to go over.
You can barely walk through that pathway.
And as I imagine, we'll probably see a lot of backhand hyzers over on the right side. I like to go the forehand hyzer on the right side. On the left side. Sorry, on the left side.
I agree with you. I think that's the play.
Mine is just like
And,
50 short.
What do you like about that play?
For me, it's just it's wider. This, as you can see on the tee pad, just a mesquite right there on the right side. I don't get anywhere close to it while throwing my forehand. But with backhand, I can imagine you're worrying about your hand flinging around. It's just a safe play.
Yeah, and Joel sticks, lands in the bullseye, picks up, rolls,
Yeah.
and that's going to take him to a low straddle knee, low ceiling putt. Just unfortunate. Great shot. But I agree, Elijah. I think that the left side is way more open. You got way more sky, and you have a lot less coming into the green to stop you. Unless you're that bush right there, it stops you. But it stops you about, what, 20 feet?
Same thing or not?
Yeah, pretty close. They're about to almost close to bullseye.
Joey, she's going with the backhand just like Timothy. You got to get this high to clear over the very end,
Just get through everything.
and that just doesn't get the lift. It's when it gets on hyzer, that wind just kind of beats it down a little bit, and she ends up hitting the branches at the it's circle 2, and she just got nothing to do but to pitch up.
Oh, nice, Joel.
We have a look here from what?
Yeah, I really thought he should have gone to a knee because of that low ceiling, but I don't know if he was able to or what he was looking at. Maybe he couldn't have reached, but that low ceiling really cost him a really good bid at the basket. Dead straight, but into the cage. Timothy knew right out of his hand. Didn't like it. Just off. That leaves Noah here with the only chance at bird on this hole.
That's how you put
And a
it.
nice bird from Noah.
Yep, we've got some birdies here on Birdie Alley. This one played, I think, as the 4th easiest hole at almost a half stroke under par, 2.55. Plenty of birdies on the day, no bogeys, as it were. That's one of the things that makes Birdie Alley a little bit on the softer side. Birds are easy, and bogeys are difficult to get. So you're either gonna go birdie or par, unless you're me, I can 5-putt with the best of them. Nobody can turn a birdie into a double bogey like I can. We had a little bit of issue with the mic here on the T-cam. It went battery ran out on it. I still have mic on the catch cam, so you'll hear some of the catch cam footage superimposed over the T-cam. Hopefully you can hear what's going on there. Noah, right in the circle. Pretty easy.
Yeah, so it's about 230 feet. It's pretty much just a hyzer with approach disc or mid. There is a thumber hole, which if you got it, you can definitely do that for sure, just to at least stay away from the left side. So I think that's also a really good play to do.
Yeah, the only issue with coming in with that hyzer is if you happen to skip or go over the basket into the left side, there's a ton of skinny trees and it's jail. I mean, there's very, very little chance you can get a putt, and if it is, it's an obstructed putt, and you're gonna have to shape a putt. Don't like doing that.
It also kind of looks like the hill too. It might roll if you throw a thumber too.
Oh yeah. So Joel going a little bit short left side, but he leaves himself a putt. When you're throwing the hyzer, if you throw down that gap, you're gonna want to throw flat with something stable and let it the disc's natural stability bring it to the basket. If you throw on hyzer, you better be flipping it up. Otherwise, it's going to go left and it's not coming back. And Joey, ace running this bad boy. And I didn't get a good look on the catch cam, but that sucker went right over the top of the basket. I don't know why I didn't get that good of a look on it. I think I messed with the video. It's alright, I'll have to cut this. I'll cut this part out. There it is. Right over the top of the basket. Near ace. But that puts her in a precarious position as far as a comeback putt. And there she is in all the skinny trees, trying to find a lane, trying to find an angle. She's got to shape this putt Let's see what she can do. Just wasn't there. That's the danger. She was so close to an ace, but it leaves the birdie putt pretty much out of question. They're really having trouble deciding how he's going to make this putt.
Oh, and just short.
Hey, I thought that was it.
Just short, just left, or just right. Well, with the straddle putt, looking for bird, and he is right side chains, doesn't cash in on the birdie look. Noah with the birdie. That's 2 in a row. Or is that 3 in a row? That's 2 in a row. Looking good. Your round starting to shape up a little bit. You're at 2 under. Hoyle's 2 under. Timothy 2 under. To the treacherous hole 16. Not really. It's 137 feet, but there are trees everywhere. You got a small path. It is a jump putt in most cases. Elijah, I know you jump putt this hole.
Yes, so I was actually, I had my dad here as a caddy for a little bit, and he was trying to get me to do some other play. Like he likes to throw the tilt grenade shot. I got up to the tee pad, and I was scared, so I just threw the jump putt as usual.
Yeah, Timothy, he's going with almost like a tomahawk or a thumber. I couldn't tell, but that just kind of hits something. Clink goes through the trees, and it gets him halfway down the fairway, which is a jump putt. We got, I think Joel is next on the tee. He changes his play. He's going with an A2. You could just kind of flip something stable, slightly overstable, nose up, and just kind of float it down that path and let the disc just coast off to the left. It's probably really your only play here. This is the play I like here. Just low. That's a great shape, great line. Just low. If she puts any air into that, that's sitting there probably in circle 1. And Noah hits a tree right in front of him and goes probably about 4 feet. And he's putting again from who knows how far. Joel just pitching it up. Joey, same thing. Straight up. A little short. And Noah, with his 4-foot advancement, now has a putt for par on a 137-foot hole. You don't want to bogey this one.
And a nice par save from Noah. I don't know what kind of gap he had there, but you must have a really good imagination to be able to shake something through there.
I had like a slight any little gap, and I was surprised it actually went in because I thought it was too far away.
Oh yeah, that spin putt you got will, if it gets close, it's going in. Timothy.
Hitting the basket.
That's a good run, man.
Yeah, he was trying to run that, and you know you've got a lot of little branches that come to the left and right of these little trees, and so he was low, but he was right on target. Gonna have a little cleanup here.
Did everybody par that one?
Yeah. It's not talking.
Pars all around. All right, guys, that'll wrap up the front 9. This is a 21-hole course. For some reason, I treated it like it was an 18-hole course. So we'll see you guys on the back 12. We've got back 12 action coming up at Comanche Trail South. It's going to open up a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of a chance to throw some bombs and try to get some birdies. Noah, you're sitting at 2 under. Joel, 2 under. Joey at 19 over. And Timothy at 2 under. Hanging in there. We're going to have a chance to try to catch up, as some of these guys on the lead card were struggling out here in this wind on this big open course. Thanks again to my wife Gabby and Jennifer for helping out on TCAM. We'll see you guys on the back 12.